Dasa Vrindavanam Bande Kṛṣṇadāsa Prabhum Tata Chanavatar Caitanya-Līlā Vishakha Nino Dyo Nityananda Parabja Karunarena Bhushito Vyatachano Buddhachincho Vavande Vyasadupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindascha Ganaisaha Jayanti Patakaschacha Sarvesham Gurunartino. So we are continuing with Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and we just finished yesterday the chapter on Mahaprabhu's instructions to Rupa Gosvāmī, and now the next chapter is Mahaprabhu's instructions to Sanātana. And so as we mentioned yesterday, right, Rupa and Sanātana agreed at the same time to give up their government service. But for Rupa Gosvāmī it was relatively simple, right? He resigned his job. It mentions how he distributed his wealth, which, as I was saying too, right? Or maybe that was in another meeting. But Caitanya-caritāmṛta, it's also, you know, it's everything actually. It's scripture, it's poetry, it's sweetness, it's humor, and it's also a very practical life manual as well. And so Rupa Gosvāmī, it mentions when he leaves, he divides up his wealth very specifically, right? He gives like 25% to family members, 25% maybe to Brahmins. He keeps something for personal emergencies, and then I can't remember exactly, but it gives a very nice example, like in a practical way, you know, how to manage your finances, right? And so with Rupa Gosvāmī, it's relatively easy for him to give up his work and go to join Mahaprabhu's mission. But then Sanātana Gosvāmī, because he's so favored by this Nawab, Hussain Shah, then it's difficult for him to go. And so he has to come up with a pretext, right, for the Nawab to become angry with him, right? So he pretends to be sick and has all these festivals at home, and then the Nawab puts him in prison. And is that a spider? I think there's a spider crawling on you, Didi.
Oh, in my hair?
In your hair, yeah.
Do you want this?
So, okay. Thank you, Didi.
This is spider. No spiders.
It's gone. It was there, I promise. Oh, it's on your scarf.
It's there again.
Okay. Okay, Niha, we're gonna, and so this whole story with Sanātana is also it's very instructive in a worldly sense too, right? Because it's interesting, you know, how Sanātana, you know, he's put into prison wrongfully, of course, and what does he do? You know, he doesn't just accept it, but he takes up some tricky means, right? He's worldly wise, he's street wise, right? And so he you know, he's very clever, and he tricks his jailer, right, and manages to bribe himself out of prison, right? So he's showing this example, right? I mean, obviously not that we should bribe people, but but according to our circumstances, we have to adapt, right? Sanātana Gosvāmī doesn't sit and give the jailer a whole lecture, right, about Mahaprabhu's teachings, or start explaining Bhagavatam verses, you know, but he's very practical. He's seeing what is the situation now and what's necessary for me to get out, right? How am I talking to this person? How am I talking to that person? We have to adjust, right? We can't always wear our heart on our sleeve, right, as practicing Vaishnavas, but we have to live in the world and we have to adapt according to the circumstances, right? So Sanātana Gosvāmī knows how to move in the world in a very clever way. Okay, so we'll start from verse number 1. Vande Nanta Bhutaishvaryam Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhum Nichopi Prasadatyad Bhakti Shastra Pravartakaha Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, who has unlimited wonderful opulences. By his mercy, even a person born as the lowest of men can spread the science of devotional service. Jai Jai Śrī Caitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhaktavinda. Etta Gure Sanātana Nache Bandi Shale, Śrīrupa Gosaya Patri Ailohe no Kale. While Sanātana Gosvāmī was imprisoned in Bengal, a letter arrived from Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī. And we have in the purport here, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was able to find what that letter was. Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur informs us that this letter from Rupa Gosvāmī to Sanātana Gosvāmī is mentioned by an annotator of Udbhata Chandrika. Don't know that text. Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī wrote a note to Sanātana Gosvāmī from Bakla. Bakla, that's Bakla Chandrajeep. That's actually the village they were originally from in what is now Bangladesh, East Bengal. Their family was from there. So Rupa Gosvāmi's in their hometown, and he sent this cryptic message. This note indicated that Mahaprabhu was coming to Mathura, and it stated, Yadupate kwagata Mathura pudi, Ragupate kwagato tada Kaushala, iti vichincha kurusva manastiram, nasadidam jagad ityavadadaya. Where has the Mathura Puri of Yadupati gone? Where has the northern Kaushala of Raghupati gone? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking this universe is not eternal. So highly cryptic, right? Because, they know all their correspondence is being screened, right? So they don't have encrypted, WhatsApp technology. But all their messages are being checked, right? So a very cryptic message indicating that Mahaprabhu is coming to Vrindavan. Let's not waste time. Right? Let's go. Now is the time. Patripaya Sanatan Anandita Hoila Jovan Rakshaka Pasha Kohite Lagila. When Sanātana Gosvāmī received this note from Rupa Gosvāmī, he became very pleased. He immediately went to the jail superintendent, who was a meat eater, and spoke as follows. Tumi ek jinda pir mahabhagyavan ketab koran shastre acche tomar gyan. Sanātana Gosvāmī told the Mohammedan jailkeeper, Dear sir, you are a saintly person and are very fortunate. You have full knowledge of the revealed scriptures, such as the Quran and similar books. And now remember, Sanātana Gosvāmī, as far as anyone is concerned, he's a Muslim, right? He's dressing like a Muslim, he has a beard like a Muslim, he's working for the Muslim government. And so this jailkeeper is seeing him like, oh, he's one of us, and so Sanātana's talking to him about the Quran and so on. So he's beginning with flattery, right? He needs his help to get out. Ekabandi chare jadi nija dharma dekiya, tamsa hoite dade mukta koden gosaya. If one releases a conditioned soul or imprisoned person according to religious principles, he himself is also released from material bondage by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here Sanātana is being a little tricky, right? Because he's referring to this, like if you can release someone from bondage in this world, then you'll also be liberated. But then he's using that to say, you should release me from prison, right? But actually these are two different things, right? But he can see the jailkeeper is a little simple and he can convince him. Porveami tomar koriachi upakar, tumi amachari koro pratyupakar. Sanātana Gosvāmī continued, Previously I have done much for you. Now I am in difficulty. Please return my goodwill by releasing me. Pancha sahasramudra tumi koro angikar, punyarta duila bhoibe tomar. Here are 5,000 gold coins. Please accept them. By releasing me, you will receive the results of pious activities and gain material profit as well. Thus you will profit in 2 ways simultaneously. And if it helps, here's 5,000 gold coins. Make the decision a little easier for you. Plus, you'll get lots of spiritual benefit.
That's a lot, 5,000 golden coins.
Yeah, now that's a lot. And that would have been more than, I think. Tobe se javan ko, that's an astronomical sum, isn't it? Tobe se javan ko he shuno mahashoy, tomade charibo kintu Kavirāja boy. In this way, Sanātana Gosvāmī convinced the jailkeeper, who replied, "Please hear me, my dear sir. I am willing to release you, but I am afraid of the government." So he's, the jailkeeper's, he wants a little more. He's testing his limits. Because Rupa and Sanātana, they were, okay, it was terrible the Nawab was forcing them, right, to work in the government, but at least he did pay them very well, right? So they were incredibly wealthy. So at least, Sanātana gohe tumina Kavirāja boy, dakingi ache jadi lute ho jaye, tahare kahiyo se. Vaja kritya gelo, Ganga nikata Ganga dekhi japadilo. Sanātana replied, "There is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, tell him that Sanātana went to pass stool near the bank of the Ganges, and that as soon as he saw the Ganges, he jumped in." Onek dekilo tar lagna pailo, daduka sahita dhubi kahavo higelo. Tell him, I looked for him a long time, but I could not find any trace of him. He jumped in with his shackles, and therefore he was drowned and washed away by the waves. Kichu boy nahi ami edeshe nadaba, dadavesh hoya ami maka ke jaibo. There is no reason for you to be afraid, for I shall not remain in this country. I shall become a mendicant and go to the holy city of Mecca. Tatapi javanman prasana na dekila, satahaja mujata agerashi koilo. Sanātana Gosvāmī could see that the mind of the meat-eater was still not satisfied. He then stacked 7,000 gold coins before him. So he starts with 5, and now he's going up to 7. Lo boilo javaner mudra dekiya, rache ganga pa koilo daduka katiya. When the meat-eater saw the coins, he was attracted to them. He then agreed, and that night he cut Sanātana's shackles and let him cross the Ganges. Now he's on his way. Gadadwar pata Śrīla nareta hajaite rachidin joli aila pata da parvate. In this way, Sanātana Gosvāmī was released. However, he was not able to walk along the path of the fortress. So he's a fugitive, right? He's a government fugitive, and so he has to be very, very careful which road he takes. Walking day and night, he finally arrived at the hilly tract of land known as Patada. Tata ek bomi koe tai tai gela, parvata par koro ama vinati korila. After reaching Patada, he met a landholder and submissively requested him to get him across that hilly tract of land. So it's a very difficult area, right? There's a lot of, wilds, undergrowth, and many thieves, and so he needs some help. So he's met this landholder, it's saying. The zamindar is what they used to call, right? What word did they use here? Bhomika. Literally, Bhomika means someone who, Bhoma is earth, right? So someone who has a landowner. Although we might use a different word nowadays. Se buyar sanghe hoye hatta ganita, buyar kane kohe se janiye ekata. A man who was expert in palmistry was at that time staying with the landlord. Knowing about Sanātana, he whispered the following in the landlord's ear. Ihartai suvainer ashtamohar hoye, shunyanandita boya sanatane koe. The palmist said, this man Sanātana possesses 8 gold coins. Hearing this, the landlord was very pleased and spoke the following in Sanātana Gosvāmī. So it seems like this was something of a practice, that persons of some wealth, they would have some advisor with some mystic ability who would help them in increasing their wealth, sometimes by deceitful means, right? Like we also hear the story of Bir Hambir, right? When Srivas Thakur, Narottam, Shamananda, they make that journey from Vrindavan to Bengal, and they have those books, right? And that king, he had this like Jyotish, like astrologer, who would calculate, and the king was also a thief, and so he was always trying to increase his wealth. And so this Jyotish that he had would calculate, where and when there would be some opportunity to steal some wealth. And then he had a band of thieves who worked for him, right? And so that Jyotish had calculated that these books were priceless jewels. And then so his thieves stole that box, and then he found, it's books, right? And so the story went on. But so also this landlord, also a person of some wealth, and so he has this, it says here palm reader, but probably he had some other, usually they would have a few, like face reading, right? Astrology, palmistry, like a few things, right? So I don't know if he actually was able to see Sanātana's palm, but he has some type of mystic ability, or his knowledge in some esoteric art, and so he's able to understand quite precisely, right, that Sanātana's carrying 8 gold coins, which gives you some perspective, right? That other man got 7,000, but he's very eager about just 8, right? So how much is that, right? It's a lot of money. So this palmist said, this man Sanātana possesses 8 gold coins. Hearing this, the landlord was very pleased and spoke the following to Sanātana. Rache parvatapar koribani jalokadiya bojan koroho tumi randan koriya. The landlord said, I shall get you across that hilly tract at night with my own men. Now just take your lunch and cook for yourself. Etaboliana dilo koria saman sanatana sitobe koilona disnan. Saying this, the landlord offered Sanātana grains to cook. Sanātana then went to the riverside and took his bath. Duyupavase koila randan bhajane rajamanche Sanātana richari lamane. Because Sanātana had been fasting for 2 days, he cooked the food and ate it. However, having formerly been a minister of the Nawab, he began to contemplate the situation. I love this verse. So this landlord is like sweet talking him and offering him food, and Sanatana's starving. He hasn't eaten for a few days, so he's very practical. He accepts it. But then it's also saying, but Raja Mantri, he was I think he was actually the prime minister. He was the prime minister, and Rupa was the finance minister. So what does that mean? Sanatana's very intelligent, right? So he's thinking like, what's going on? What's this about? Why is he being so nice? So as we said, right, he's streetwise. He knows how to move in the world. He's not going to let someone take advantage of him, right? Etta buya kene mode saman korilo, etta chindi sanatan ishane pochilo. As a former minister for the Nawab, Sanatana could certainly understand diplomacy. He therefore thought, why is this landlord offering me such respect? Thinking in this way, he questioned his servant, Ishan. Tomatai jani kichu dravya choe, Ishan kohe motai satamo hahoe. Sanatana asked his servant, Ishan, I think you have some valuable things with you. Ishan replied, yes, I have 7 gold coins. Shuni sanatantade. And so obviously Ishan's taken this without permission, right? Because Sanatana knows it's dangerous. You don't travel in a bad neighborhood with hundreds of dollars in cash, right? You have to be careful. So, they're traveling, in dangerous areas of the country. Sanatana wouldn't have wanted to carry that much money.
So he was traveling with his servant.
Yeah. So where could he have left that then? If he would leave, where could he have left those 7 coins?
Oh, I mean, he must have had some friends or family or merchants who could hold it for him. But in their situation, traveling alone like that as fugitives from the government, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to carry wealth, you would need, stronger group protection, yeah. But no, I mean, Sanatana, I'm sure he has countless friends and acquaintances who could help take care of that kind of thing. But Ishan has done this without permission. Shuni sanatantare korila batsan sange kene aniyacho he kaloyam. Hearing this, Sanātana Gosvāmī chastised his servant, saying, why have you brought this death knell with you? You're just asking for death. No? It's like imagine traveling in, certain neighborhoods, right? Inner city neighborhoods, flashing, all your fancy devices and your wallet and all these things. You're just asking for trouble, right? Tobese satamoha hastete kodia, buyar kache jaya kohe moha dunia. Thereupon Sanātana Gosvāmī took the 7 gold coins in his hands and went to the landlord. Holding the gold coins before him, he spoke as follows. Esata suvana moha achilo amar, iha loya dharma deki parvata koropar. I have these 7 gold coins with me. Please accept them, and from a religious point of view, please get me across that hilly tract of lands. So he uses the word dharma, like, please, like do the right thing, This is dharma. Please just help me, kindly. But here's also some money. Rajabandiyami gada dvajaitena padi, punya hobe parvatama deho pakuri. I am a prisoner of the government, and I cannot go along the way of the ramparts. I'm not sure what that is, something on the main road. It will be very pious of you to take this money and kindly get me across this hilly tract of land. Bhuyahasi kohe ami janiyachi pahile, ashtamoha hoy toma seva kanchale. Smiling, the landlord said, "Before you offered them, I already knew that there were 8 gold coins in your servant's possession." So there's some discrepancy here. We're hearing about 7, we're hearing about 8. Tomamari moha loitam ajikarachiye balo hoilo kahila tumi chutila papa hoite. On this very night I would have killed you and taken your coins. It is very good that you have voluntarily offered them to me. I am now relieved from such a sinful activity. Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so glad I could help you out there. You didn't have to kill me. Santushta hoilawami moharna loibo punyalagi parvatoma parakoridibo. I am very satisfied with your behavior. I shall not accept these gold coins, but I shall get you across that hilly tract of land simply to perform a pious activity. Kosai kohe keo dravya loibe amamadi ama prana raksha koro dravyangi kodi. Sanātana Gosvāmī replied, "If you do not accept these coins, someone else will kill me for them. It is better that you save me from the danger by accepting the coins." Tabe boya Gosaya sange charipai kodilo rachie vana patte parvata pa koilo. After this settlement was made, the landlord gave Sanātana Gosvāmī 4 watchmen to accompany him. They went through the forest path for the whole night, and thus brought him over that hilly tract of land. Tobepa hoya gosai puchila ishane janisha stravya kichu acheto mazdane. After crossing the hills, Sanātana Gosvāmī told his servant, "Ishan, I think you still have some balance left from the gold coins." Because Ishan had told him he had 7, right? But now he's heard there's actually 8. So what's up with that, Ishan? Ishan kohe hek mohar ache avashesh, gosai kohe mohar loya, jaha tu midesh. Clean, clear, direct. Ishan says, "I still have 1 gold coin." Sanātana said, "Take the gold coin and go home." Yes, if you think that 1 gold coin is more important than, your service in this mission and going this wonderful opportunity, going to see the Lord, if you think that 1 gold coin is more important, you can keep it and go, go home. Amazing, isn't it? Acharya Maharaj used to like to talk about that, Because in the same way, we can think in our own lives, right? How many 1 gold coins are we holding on to at the expense of our spiritual life, right? All very insignificant things. But for the sake of these very insignificant things, we're losing our spiritual energy, right? And losing the opportunity that we have. We can actually, just like Ishan, he's living in a very small world, right? Oh, this 1 gold coin, I need this for my family or whatever. But he's seeing things in a very narrow way, right? He's not seeing this inconceivably wonderful opportunity that he has, right? To be in the direct association of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, right? Carrying out his divine Leela in this world, to have the association of Sanātana Gosvāmī, Rupa Gosvāmī, all the Vaishnavas of Vrindavan. He's giving up this whole, glorious world for the sake of 1 gold coin, right? It's really something to think about. Excuse me. And so what does Ishan do? Okay.
Is that the you want.
It's like, no, Isha, don't do it. You're missing out. So something to meditate on, huh? At least for myself. Tadividai dia gosai cholila ekala hate koroya chinda kantanir boy hoila. After departing from Ishan, Sanātana Gosvāmī began traveling alone with a water pot in his hand. Simply covered with a torn quilt, he thus lost all his anxiety. So look at this, like how happy he is. Like he was so wealthy, high position, infinite wealth. And now he's a beggar, a fugitive from the government. All he's got is his water pot and a torn quilt. And he's so happy, so peaceful.
Didn't he switch that quilt?
It's coming. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Yeah, there's a whole pastime with the quilt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll hear about that. Choli choli gosai tobe aila haji pode sanja kale bosila he gudyan bitade. Walking and walking, Sanātana Gosvāmī finally arrived at a place called Hajipur. That evening he sat down within a garden. Se Hajipure rohe Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta Gosai Bhagini Bhatti Kavirāja kam. In Hajipur, there was a gentleman named Śrī Caitanya who happened to be the husband of Sanātana Gosvāmī's sister. This is his brother-in-law. He bumps into him. He was engaged there in government service. 3 lakh mudra raja diyache taharstane goda mulya loya pataye vatsaharstane. Śrī Caitanya had 300,000 gold coins with him, which had been given to him by the emperor for the purchase of horses. Thus Śrī Caitanya was buying horses and dispatching them to the emperor. Tungi upar bosi se gosai re de kilo rachye ka jan sange gosai pashailo. When Śrī Caitanya was sitting in an elevated place, he could see Sanātana Gosvāmī. That night he took a servant and went to see Sanātana. Duijan militata ishta goshti koilo, bandan mokankata gosai sakali kohilo. When they met, they had many conversations. Ishta goshti, it says. Sanātana Gosvāmī told him in detail about his arrest and release. Teo kohe dindui rohoe stane bajraha chadahe malin vasane. Śrī Caitanya then told Sanātana, stay here for at least 2 days and dress up like a gentleman. Abandon these dirty garments. Gosai kohe ekakan ihana rohibo gangapa kori deho ekane cholibo. Sanātana Gosvāmī replied, I should not stay here even for a moment. Please help me cross the Ganges. I shall leave immediately. So he's not wasting any time. Yatna kori teho ek bota kamba dilo ganga par kori dilo gosai cholilo. So kambal is blanket in Bengali. And was there another name for what he had before? Kanta, chinda kanta. He had some type of quilt. Now this is something richer that his brother-in-law gives him. With great care, Śrī Caitanya gave him a woolen blanket and helped him cross the Ganges. Thus Sanātana Gosvāmī departed again. So Sanātana wouldn't accept everything he wanted to give him, but at least he accepted this one, like some fancy chadar. Tobe Vārāṇasī gosai aila koto dine, shuni anandito haila Prabhur agamane. After a few days, Sanatan arrived at Vārāṇasī. He was very pleased to hear about Mahaprabhu's arrival there. So meanwhile, right, Mahaprabhu's left Prayag. He had his meeting with Rupa Goswami, and Mahaprabhu is continuing on his way back to Orissa, to Puri, and now Mahaprabhu's reached Vārāṇasī, and Sanatan is on his way, thinking Mahaprabhu's in Vrindavan, then comes across Mahaprabhu in Vārāṇasī, right? So they're going like this, and then they meet there. So he reaches Vārāṇasī and hears, amongst the people, Mahaprabhu's there. And remember, Mahaprabhu had created a stir in the city, right? Because he had that meeting with Prakashananda Saraswati and all these great sannyasis, and pretty much converted them to Vaishnavism. And so the whole city was singing the glories of Mahaprabhu. So he'd become like a prominent figure there. Candraśekhara gore asi dwarete bosila, Mahaprabhu jani Candraśekhara kohila. I think that's already happened, though actually it could be later. It happened earlier, yeah. Sanātana Gosvāmī then went to the house of Candraśekhara and sat down by the door. So he's shy, right? He's shy to approach the Lord. Always very, Rupa and Sanātana both, they always show this very extreme mood of humility. So he's too shy to go in directly. He's also very dirty, right? So he just sits outside, Understanding what was happening, Mahaprabhu spoke to Candraśekhara. Dware ek Vaishnav hoy, bolo hota hare, Candraśekhara deke Vaishnav nahi ko dware. Mahaprabhu said, there's a devotee at your door, there's a Vaishnava at your door, please call him in. Going outside, Candraśekhara could not see a Vaishnava at his door. Dware te Vaishnav nahi, Prabhu de kohilo, keho hoy kori Prabhu tahare pochilo. When Candraśekhara informed the Lord that no Vaishnava was at his door, the Lord asked him, is there anyone at your door? Teo kohe ek taravesh, acha dware tare anna prabhur vakya kohino tare. Candraśekhara replied, there's a Muslim mendicant. Mahaprabhu immediately said, please bring him here. Candraśekhara then spoke to Sanātana Gosvāmī, who was still sitting beside the door. Prabhu tomai bolai aisa naravesh, shuni anande sanatan korila pravesh. O Muslim mendicant, please come in. The Lord is calling you. Sanātana was very pleased to hear this order, and he entered Candraśekhara's house. Tahare angane deke Prabhu daya haila, tade alingan kori prema vishta hoila. As soon as Mahaprabhu saw Sanātana in the courtyard, he immediately went up to him with great haste. After embracing him, the Lord was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. So I'm just thinking now, like there's that moment when, it's like an iconic moment when Gopakumar, right, reaches Vrindavan and Krishna embraces him. So this is a similar moment in Mahaprabhu's Leela. And you'll see some paintings, maybe you remember seeing, and you see them all over Vrindavan actually in different temples. It's probably in this book too, but this painting of that embrace, when they meet each other. Here we go. Here's one. But there are other paintings too depicting this moment. But there's one here. Yeah. And meanwhile, Candraśekhara is like taken aback, like, oh, who is this? Just like when Gopakumar met with Krishna, right? And all of Krishna's fans are very surprised. Who is this newcomer here? So how loving, huh? How affectionate is the Lord. And what Sanātana must be feeling, you can only imagine. And so many years, actually, he's been waiting for this moment. It's been years since he has wanted to leave his work and come and stay with Mahaprabhu, but it wasn't the right time. And now he's had all this trouble in prison, escaping from prison, escaping death, and all kinds of things. And now, like a beggar, right? I mean, what a moment. He's left all this wealth, position behind. Now he's just standing like a beggar, naked in front of his Lord, and being received with so much love and affection. What a moment. Well, I guess, should we stop there? Cliffhanger. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Next episode. Jai Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki Jai. Krishna's Kavirāja Gosvāmī ki Jai. Sanātana Gosvāmī ki Jai. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Hari Nam Sankirtan ko hai Narottama Dasa. Hari Nam Sankirtan ko hai Narottama Dasa. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Goswami Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Giridhari Ji ki Jai. Param Guru Dev Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Hari Nam Sankirtan ki Jai. Jai Gaur Premanande.